All right, welcome to this free training where I'm going to be talking about what you need to know as a business owner to make sure that you are set up for success when you are starting to hire. You see, that there is a lot that you need to know as a business owner. And I think that there's a lot more that's needed to know when you are starting to hire because it's not for everybody. Whether you're a solopreneur, whether you're an entrepreneur, there's a lot that you need to remember, you need to know of to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success, but also setting up any potential new hire for success so they can win, so they can thrive, and ultimately help you grow your business. So, in this free training, I'm going to share with you the key steps you need to know before you begin the process of hiring in your business. So, the first thing I want to state here is again, this is free training. This is 100% free, not kind of free, totally free. So, take notes, watch, listen, learn as you go throughout this entire process because I'm going to be sharing a lot about helping you become the best person possible to hire for your business, to ultimately grow your business and help it succeed. Because when you bring in the right types of skills, the right types of perspectives, it's going to help take you to the next level. Now, what do you do when you start thinking about this idea of needing to hire? How do you do it? How do you even begin to hire? See, a lot of people struggle with it. A lot of people have struggled so much that I've heard this same message over and over again. I wish someone could just hire for me. And that's ultimately what led me to create my company called Hire For Me, where I would go and I would hire for solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, small business owners, help them get that next critical hire that's going to take their business to the next level because a lot of people struggle doing it. But for some of you, you aren't sure if whether you're ready to hire or not, or if you're ready to get started. And that's what this training is all about, to help you understand whether you are ready to hire. Now, the first thing I think that's critical and it's important is that as a business owner, you clarify your goals. You clarify your needs. Why do you ultimately want to hire someone? What are the tasks that they're going to work on? I call these the must-have tasks that you need in your business. You need to identify what are the things that you need to get done, and is there enough of similarity between them that you can actually start to create a role around some of these? Is there enough that you can put together to say, yes, I have a need, and if I hire this person with this skill set, it's going to bring me what I'm looking for. As an example, a lot of people are actually looking for someone with marketing experience, maybe someone to manage their social media accounts or to grow them as a solopreneur, because a lot of solopreneurs and business owners aren't really interested in creating content, or they're not interested in having an online presence, but they know it's important. So they're going to need to hire somebody who has that skill set. I've hired that skill set for many business owners before, and I know that it's such an important one. So someone who can build a social media presence and following, who can engage and build a website and can develop ads and copy and digital content. That is a critical skill set that's so important. So you start to realize that those are some like-minded tasks that you could find somebody, such as a marketing coordinator, as an example. Maybe that's one of your goals, to build one of your businesses up. And again, it all starts and ends with marketing, which is one of the most critical tasks that you need to fill. The question you have to ask yourself, though, are you even in a position where you're ready to hire? Because a lot of people might not be. So here's, in the next few slides, I'm going to share some of the things that you need to think about when you begin this journey of thinking that you're ready to hire. The first is actually taking a look at whether you actually have enough demand for your products or services. Are you consistently having people come to you looking for your support, your products, your service, whatever it is that you're offering? And you might ultimately find that you're having such consistency that you're actually starting to hurt your business by not having another person in place. Maybe you need to hire someone, maybe with some customer service background or an operations person, some boots on the ground, somebody who can actually help you be more consistent and achieve that demand. So if you find that you're consistently getting demand for what you're offering, you might be in a position where you maybe need to hire. The second thing that you really need to look at is do you actually have the available resources to pay a new employee, the equipment that's required to make sure that they're set up to be successfully onboarded and trained? You see, there's nothing worse than seeing a business owner go out, hire someone, and then realize, oh, I really don't have the financial means to actually consistently pay this person. Or even worse than that, maybe not pay them what they're actually worth. You see, when you don't pay somebody what they're worth, there's a good chance that they're going to leave. And then all that effort to hire someone, all the time, the energy that was put into hiring someone, it's going to feel like a waste. You're going to be frustrated. You'll be disappointed. So make sure that you actually have enough stability in terms of your resources. The other thing that's mentioned with resources, though, is also, do you have the right technology in place? Do you have processes in place that are going to help you set up someone for success? Because that's ultimately critically important as well, especially when someone joins a business. They want to make sure, if you're definitely a solopreneur, that you've got your house in order. Because if you don't, it's too chaotic and maybe it's too risky for someone to actually join or stick around. The other thing that's important is also looking at your time. As a business owner, do you have the time? Because a lot of people who decide that they want to hire, they have one of these problems in place where they're the chief everyone officer. They're wearing every single hat. They're doing every single task. But they're trying to offload some tasks by hiring someone. But do they actually still have enough time to train that person to set them up for success? There's nothing worse than somebody starting on day one and there's not a plan in place. Or the owner or the leader of the team doesn't want to actually invest the time to make sure that they're coaching and training. So if you're going to hire someone, you better have a plan in place to actually make sure that you're training them and setting them up for success. The other thing that's important, I think, for business owners to do before they even decide to hire is to figure out their long-term goals. Are you looking to expand your business? Maybe you're going into a new market. Maybe you're adding new products, new services. If so, then you can start to map out, what does that projection look like? How many people do I need? Am I looking for certain skills? Am I looking for somebody who's got an IT background? Am I looking for a salesperson to help me actually go and acquire new markets? Do I need some sort of product development person who's going to actually help me create these new products, whether it's digital products that you're selling, whether it's investing in real estate, whatever it is, you might need to figure out what are those long-term goals and aspirations, and how do you reverse engineer your needs to actually make sure that you can fulfill what you're ultimately wanting to build. You see, I think hiring needs to be really based and centered around your needs and your goals. Ultimately, you need to have a plan. A business plan is critical and important. But if you think that you're ready to take the plunge into hire, you got to make sure that you have the right resources in place. And that is time, that is money, that is energy as a business owner to make sure that you are successful before you can actually hire someone. Now, there are other important considerations that I think are critical for you to know if you are thinking about getting ready to hire. I'm going to talk about these in more detail, but I'll go through these 7 here first. You need a job description in place. Ideally, you need to have a budget set up, have the right strategy, understand what your selection process will be, a plan to onboard and train them, which again, I will reiterate is so important. Make sure you have the right KPIs in place. KPIs, if you're not familiar with it, are key performance indicators. Basically, how is success going to be measured? And then you need to make sure you've got support and development figured out as well. So when I talk about a job description, it's about clearly defining the responsibilities, the duties of the role. What are the qualification, the experiences that you're ultimately looking for? This is going to help you with attracting the right candidates from your job posting, but it's also going to make sure that you've got everything aligned in terms of the expectations that you have with a particular role. So it doesn't have to be so formalized and so detailed, but what I list out are called must-have criteria. What are the must-haves, the 3 to 5 things that are so important for a particular role that you need in your business? Once you identify those, you have the basis to start to formulate not only a job posting, but to also maybe work with a recruiter or an agency that can help you fill that gap. It's also important to have a budget. Decide how much you can afford to pay for a new hire. There's some research that needs to go into a particular job posting to determine, well, how much is this person worth based on the market that you're trying to fill? If you're trying to hire somebody, maybe you're looking for that next critical person as like a COO. Well, you're not going to be able to hire a chief operations officer in your business, a number 2 in command behind you, if you're only offering a piddly amount of money. You're going to have to make sure you pay market rate or have the right incentives in place to make sure that it's attractive enough to hire somebody. If you're looking for more of a customer service role, obviously it's a different salary. But you need to know, based on your market, based on the expertise, what is the going rate, but also what are you willing to pay? Are you wanting to pay above rate, at rate, maybe slightly below, with some perks and some bonuses, maybe some commission plan to make sure you're attracting the most qualified candidates, the suitable candidates that are ultimately going to help you grow your business. I think it's also critical and important that you also have a strategy in place. How are you going to find the right candidate? You see, a lot of solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, they actually struggle with this space where they don't actually think about where they're going to find those people. They don't realize that you can post on social media. There's different job boards you can look for. There's referrals. I say employee referrals here, but you can also have referrals from others in your network, or you can work with agencies such as what I offer here with Hire For Me, my company as well. The other thing that's important to really understand and dial in on is your selection process. What is going to be that structured interview process that you're going to go through to make sure that you're consistently evaluating the various candidates? You see, if you don't have a process in place as you're starting to interview, it's going to be all over the place and it's going to be really hard for you to determine who is the right fit for a particular role. So you want to have some consistency. That is so critical and that is so important. The other thing I think that's more important than anything else, I think the most important thing is making sure you have onboarding and training set up. Because it's one thing to go and hire somebody, it's another thing to actually go and train them to make sure that they are set up to win. So have a plan of how you're going to onboard them, how you're going to train them, how you're going to introduce them to your culture, to your business processes, so they are set up to win. Now, when they are working in your business, though, you're going to want to make sure that you have the right performance indicators in place, KPIs in place, to ultimately make sure that this person knows if they had a good day or not. Any client that I work with, I always suggest asking them in advance to prepare what those KPIs are going to be. And if they can find a way that we would actually bonus against them, that can make it more attractive to actually hire the right candidate as well. This is going to be a question that I know I get asked all the time when I'm recruiting is how is the role measured? So business owners need to actually put in the time before we actually start hiring to make sure that they understand this and they can actually measure it. It could be something like measuring customer satisfaction, maybe the number of deals that get closed during the course of a month or a quarter or whatever it's going to be. But there ultimately needs to be some measurable stats in place to actually determine whether someone is doing a good job or not. Lastly, I think it's important and it's so critical to make sure that you've got support and development figured out. How are you going to provide ongoing assistance to somebody to help them grow, help them develop, probably personally, professionally, to make sure that they succeed in their role? In my leadership course that I offer, I talk a lot about the importance of one-on-ones and making sure that you're having weekly one-on-ones with your team to help them grow, to coach them, to advise them, to give them the blueprint to help make sure that they're successful for you and your business. But there are other ways that you can invest in your people too. It could be maybe paying for courses and content for them, or sending them to workshops or training, or having them join you in networking opportunities that are available. There's so many ways to invest in your people. And it's so critical in today's world, especially with this war for talent, that you do so. So you have to sit there and think, are you ready to hire in your business? Are you ready to take that next step? Because if you are, there are some things that you need to remember. Because when you're reviewing resumes, you're conducting interviews, it's important to know that you got to focus on the skills and the experience that are relevant to the role that you're hiring for. But you don't have to do it alone. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to involve others in your process, because there are several reasons why it's so important to remember this. I think number one is that you need to realize there's other expertise out there that's got maybe specialized skills to go and help find that talent for you, while also allowing you to go work on the things that you do best, well, someone else can actually help you. It's also going to shorten the time it's going to take for you to find talent. As an example, the average recruitment cycle is about 46 days. Now, those numbers change depending on the complexity of the role, the industry that someone's looking to hire for. I know within my business, based on helping solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, as of right now, I'm averaging 26 days. So I'm actually 20 days quicker than the average because I'm focusing on that. I'm going all in. I'm being responsive. I'm posting, I'm poaching, I'm promoting for the right role. But you need to sit there and leverage the expertise of someone who's going to help shorten the time distance there between what you want and ultimately what you're going to get. As I said, though, time saving is everything. And so you've got a full plate of responsibilities that you have thrust upon you. You maybe are the chief everyone officer, wearing every hat, doing everything, sales, marketing, ops, maybe IT, maybe the finances, you're doing it all. So when you decide to hire, you're trying to ultimately take something off your plate. When you do that, that's going to free you up to do more things that you're really good at. And it's going to also make you more profitable because time is money. And the other thing I think that's helpful when you start to think about maybe not having to do it solo it gives you the ability to stay objective. Because if you have a third party that comes in and can actually help you with hiring, they can actually remain neutral in making sure that they're picking somebody for your best interests, as opposed to you being maybe biased by something that you might hear or see as part of the interview process. An outside perspective also gives you additional clarity that I think is really important, especially in today's world as you're trying to hire. Because once you have a clear idea of what you're looking for, it is that time where then you have to start figuring out, okay, I'm going to start to recruit. There are many ways that you can do it, as I said earlier, right? You can look on job boards, you can post on social media, there's referrals, but get creative. Think outside the box, right? And ultimately, I think, remember, again, you don't have to do it solo. So my final thoughts are this, because I want to keep this training really light and brief for you, is that hiring is so critical. It's going to give you valuable expertise. It's going to give you the time-saving benefits, giving you time back. It's going to help you make the best decisions for your business. And ultimately, it's going to help your business grow and thrive and not just survive in today's shifting world and economy. It is so critical and it's so important. So if you're looking for more help and more assistance, you can do a couple things. First, as you see here on the screen, as I've got my Solopreneur's Guide to Hiring. It's a free resource that you can get on my website at hireforme.ca. It contains even more information about some of the key traits that you're looking for, the ideal way to post a job, what should be included in a job posting, what are most candidates looking for, and some of the regrets that I've had throughout my career. This PDF document is completely free, and it'll help you understand more about the hiring process. The other thing that you can do is also just work directly with me as well. Again, we help solopreneurs and small business owners find and hire that next critical person that's going to help them grow their business. I offer 2 different ways to do this. One, I have a done-for-you hiring solution. I do done-for-you recruiting. I post, I poach, I promote the role, I negotiate for the role, and I hire someone on your behalf. It's flat rate pricing, so you have what you need to do to feel like you actually have confidence in your price. You see, a lot of other recruitment firms, they will charge anywhere between 15 to 25% of the first year salary that someone's being hired. Well, what does that do? It incentivizes those firms to maybe not give the best level of service to a business owner. They negotiate a higher salary with somebody, they get paid more. I offer flat rate pricing, which makes it easier. I'm also focused on my core values, which is speed, service, and simplicity, and making sure and offering you that done-for-you solution that make your life easier. The other thing that I do, and again, I talked about it during this training, it is so critical and important to make sure that you onboard and train your people the right way. So I offer what I call done with you training, where I help you as the leader or as the business owner, making sure that you are building out the right training plan and setting your employee up for success. I offer 3 monthly one-on-one coaching sessions with you. I help do the prep work before the person hires to make sure that they're set up with a training plan so you can ultimately win and succeed. So if you want more information about me, the training, you want to work together, you want to see if we're a great fit, visit hireforme.ca/contact. You can see my form on there. You can send me an email, or better yet, you can just book directly with me and schedule a discovery call. We're going to go through an intake session, learn more about your business. I'll talk more about mine and how we might be able to work together. Again, thank you for attending this training. I hope that you learned some valuable insights to help you on your path to hiring in your business.